The campsite line is quickly becoming the fastest growing brand in the industry, and for good reason. You have incredible RVs with great running gear, excellent amenities at a very affordable price. So you can imagine how happy I was when they came out with one of my favorite couples travel trailer floor plans. Now, they're not the first to come out with this floor plan, right? There's another very well-known manufacturer that came out with this first. The big difference here is this one is going to be a lot more affordable. And why do I like this floor plan so much? Well, it has a great front kitchen. You have plenty of seating in the form of a dinette, which I enjoy for playing games, and theater seating that is going to be directly across from a TV. You also have a double access bathroom with a large bedroom and plenty of storage in there as well. So let's kind of get into it, kind of talk a little bit about some of the things they do different, as well as what I do like and what I don't. So first off, again, as I mentioned, they're not the first to make this floor plan, but I think they did a lot of things right, and I do think that the price point on this one is going to be it's going to be in line with a lot more people's budgets. So first off, yes, they do have solid surface countertops in the kitchen. Definitely really happy with that. 3-burner cooktop. You can see the convection microwave air fryer oven right down underneath the 3-in-1 there. Also over to this side is going to be your undermount stainless steel sink. And you can see that they put a glass rinser in here, which I really like. And then this faucet. Now, I'm not super sold on this faucet. I think it's fine. Basically what it is when it's in this position, you have like your standard faucet. And then if you want, you can turn it this way for like a little bit of a waterfall effect. I don't know. Again, just like a big sprayer, right? Like I'm just not, it's fine. It is what it is. I think either, you really like it or you don't. I personally prefer a pullout, but I know that this is at least something new and different. You'll also see that you have a cutting board here as well as a drying rack. So you have a few different options. Electrical outlets and USB ports on both sides for coffee makers, whatever else you want to plug in. And then they have this signature hanging box up top where you have your hooks right down underneath. So whether you want to hang decorative mugs, if you want to hang some pots and pans over here, you can do that as well. And you have good storage kind of down underneath. It's one of the things that Campsite does really well, and that's one of the reasons I love their booths, and we'll get to that in a second. But just kind of opening this up, right, you can see that you have some pretty good storage here, and especially underneath the sink. I mean, take a look at all that storage, and that actually runs all the way over to the wall. And you have exterior access there as well. Now, why? Well, the thing I kind of like about this is the fact that you have so much storage under here. You can put your trash can here, which is probably where personally I would put it. In fact, what I would do if it were me is I'm going to buy a second trash can. The reason being is I'm going to have this one, or maybe even a slightly larger one, because I can fit a bigger one there. And so I'll have one there. The other one I'm going to put right over here so that in the event I want to throw something down here and be able to take it out that side door, I can do that. But I don't know that I always want to use this as my trash. I find it very convenient to open it up and toss it right in here. So I'd probably move this one over there and put a bigger one right there. But that's just me. Also, I'd probably put a shelf in here. I kind of wish they would have, honestly, on one side for pots and pans, just to make it a little bit easier to store them. But so I'd probably, if it were me, I'd probably put something in there just for a little bit easier storage of those. Now what, like I said, I'd like to talk about what I think is lacking in here. And for me, it is going to be storage space for dishes. If I have to give a knock to the kitchen, I just don't have a ton of space for pots and pans and things. There is a spot, or sorry, not pots and pans, for like plates and cups and things like that. There is a place you can put it, but it's a little bit out of the way. I'll show you that in just a second. You also see that you have kind of a little storage space up here, probably for like spices, something like that. I do like that. I think that's a nice little touch. And if we take a look right up on the ceiling here, you'll see that you have a nice big 14-inch fan so that anything that you are cooking here, the smells will quickly leave the RV. Now, as we take a look at the slide out, you'll see that it is a super slide, right? We have our dinette and sofa in there. Nice big windows here. Let's in a ton of natural light. They open up, of course, for ventilation as well. Now, if we look at the booth dinette, again, folks, I am a big fan of a booth, mainly because I like to play a lot of board games, and so I like to have that booth space to do it. So again, or at least have some kind of dinette, some kind of table in here. But the reason I like these booths so much is going to be this right here. As I pull this out. Now, it's not on like any kind of guides or anything, which is why I struggled a little bit to open it, because you kind of have to lift it and pull it out. But take a look at how big that storage is. I mean, massive storage. And you get that on both sides. So that is fantastic. Now, the booth can drop down into a little bed. You know, again, nothing super big, but it's, you know, if you want to kind of curl up as an adult, or you want a kiddo to sleep on there, you can do that. And then, of course, right next to that is going to be your theater seating. Yes, both of these recline. You have the cup holders, and that is going to be straight across from the TV. I like this setup. You can see you have, you know, a little bit of storage down underneath as well as a fireplace. And then right behind the TV, as you may have suspected, is a massive pantry. So here's the thing. So this, in my opinion, is probably where you're going to have to store your cups, plates, bowls, all of that. You're going to have to find a spot in here. And there is plenty of space to do it. So, you know, it's not like, again, it's not like it's a deal breaker where there's just not space for it. It's just that to access all of that, I'm going to have to open up that TV. And, you know, if my wife is here watching or I have friends over watching TV, it's just going to be, you know, a little bit more intrusive than I would normally like, you know, if it were over in the kitchen. Again, not a deal breaker, but I do just want to make sure I point those things out. Let me know your thoughts. Before we go on, I want to know what, you know, I want to know your thoughts. Are you okay opening up the pantry? You know, because again, it would be totally different if it didn't have the storage, but it does have the storage space. Are you okay opening the pantry, or would you rather see like some kind of overhead cabinets or something here in the kitchen? Let me know in the comments. Let's kind of discuss. You also see over to the side, this is going to be your 10.7 cubic foot fridge freezer combo right here. So you have, of course, you have a fridge up top, freezer right down below. This is 12 volt as well, so it will run off the batteries. Right up top is going to be the ducted AC. I wish I could run that. Unfortunately, it ruins all audio. But I am filming this in Florida today, and it is pretty warm. I mean, you can see right here, we're 84 degrees. So if I'm sweating a little bit, I apologize. Kind of moving into the bathroom. So you'll have your foot flush lever toilet right down here. This one is porcelain, just like we want. Nice and easy to clean. You can see your, this will have a thermoformed countertop in here, right? Your heat pressed. Underneath that, you do have enough space for black tank chemical or toilet paper, spray, everything you want to put in there. And then for towels, you can see that you have kind of little linen storage right over there. You also have the storage right up top in the mirrored medicine cabinet. The shower is going to be neo angle. I will take a step in here for you. Let me flip the camera around just to kind of show you space. So if I don't use the skylight, I am touching the top at 6 foot tall. With the skylight, I do have a little bit more headroom. I probably have another 2 inches. So you could probably be 6'2" and still be able to stand in here. Much taller than that, though, and you are going to have to duck your head down. You'll also see right out here is your tankless water heater control. So you basically have unlimited hot water as long as you're hooked up to city water. And then you have a 14-inch fan in the bathroom, which I really like. You know, not only does it help get moisture out, but obvious reasons too, right? Helps get the smells out of the bathroom. And that's much better than what in the industry we call the fart fan, which is like the little guy that really doesn't do a whole lot of anything. Having that 14-inch fan will actually move some air. Now, you also have a second entrance into the bedroom here. Let me turn this light on. There we go. You have the second entrance here into the bedroom. I do like this just because it is a little bit easier access, right? So if you have your slide closed and you're in travel mode, right, what we can essentially do is use this door to still be able to enter the bathroom. So I do like that they give you a couple different options as far as getting into the coach. Now your bed will be located right here. Again, that is going to be in a slide out. It is not a folding mattress or anything though. It is going to be a solid mattress. Now you will see your size is 66.5 by 74. So it's going to be in between a king and queen as far as width, but then it's going to be a little bit short of your queen. But it kind of has to be short. And you'll see they actually had to cut it out right here so it could be a one piece and not have to be a folding mattress to be able to get that bed in when the slide comes in. Plenty of storage in the bedroom though. That is one thing I really, really like. I mean, take a look at this, right? You have the center, you have the wardrobe on both sides, right? So all the storage there, more storage all the way down below. TV hookup in here as well. Nice big rear window. And you will see over to the side, this one also has your inverted outlet here. So if you have a CPAP machine, you can hook that up and be able to use it even if you are boondocking or dry camping. So again, if we look at the floor plan overall, I think they did a fantastic job. There are some things that I think need some minor tweaks, but let me know in the comments what you think should be different, what you think should change. Now, it's not just about the inside. Anytime you make a decision to purchase an RV, you want to make sure that the running gear and everything else is good. So let's go take a look at the outside of the coach as well. Okay, so let's talk about the outside of the coach, starting off right up front here. So this one does have the big windshield. Now I'm told that they may remove the windshield. They're talking about it right now. And I don't know if it's a warranty issue or if it's, trying to reduce cost. I'm not completely sure, but I do know that they may go away from this. So if you like the windshield, I do recommend kind of jumping on these because I am pretty certain that they are going to remove it. You also see right down underneath, there is a power tongue jack. Right behind that are your two 20-pound propane tanks, battery here, and then of course a little bit further behind is going to be your battery disconnect, so that way you can just kill all power to the coach. Coming back a little bit further as we go to the side, open this side compartment up and you will see that you have plenty of space in here. And as I talked about, right, we have the one trash can underneath the sink. Personally, I would probably put a second one right here though. And let me see if I can show you, because right up there is that hole in the countertops that we can drop everything right down in and pull it out. Again, I'd probably use this one here just so I know that it fits out the door, and put the bigger one where that one is, so that way I can just take the trash bag out. Of course, light over to the side, and then you will see that you have your solar charge controller here too. Going back a little bit further, this is going to be a laminated coach. You have these square tinted windows on there as well. Large power awning that does cover both entrances. LED light strip there too. And then we can see the steps. This one does have the MORryde step above steps with the aluminum treads. You'll see the power stabilizer jacks, right? One control on this side to essentially run the front, another control in the back to operate the two rear ones. The doors themselves are going to be tempered glass, and then they will have a window right here. Now they are going to be thin shade ready, is what they call it, a thin shade. So if you want the shade to cover the glass, for example, privacy at night, it is easy to install, but that is one of those upgrades that I recommend. You also see the outside kitchen, the fridge with the gray stone griddle right underneath. You can just pull out, be able to fry up the bacon in the morning, grab a bevy at night. Love that. TV hookup with a few outside speakers, and then of course your connections here. Dropping down, this is probably one of the biggest things about the campsite line. One of the reasons I think that it is so successful is because of the UltraRide suspension. What is that, you ask? Well, we kind of take a look here, and I don't know if we can pick it up on camera, but there are some shocks in there, and that's going to do a lot to help absorb a lot of that impact from going down the roads. That way it's not transferring into the chassis itself. You can kind of see it on that side too. While we're under here, I also want to show the enclosed underbelly. That is going to be insulated, so that way it'll help stay a little bit warmer in the colder climates. Then you will see your propane quick connect is going to be right there. So if you have like a second griddle or something you want to plug in, you can. Obviously it's built for this one, but if you have like a Blackstone that you really like, feel free to bring that guy along. Coming back a little bit further, we talked about the tankless water heater. That will be located right here. Low point drains, of course, underneath that for winterization. Then in the back is going to be an accessory hitch. So if you have a bike rack you want to be able to hook up there, or just like a carrier, you can slide that in. Your water connections here are going to be right in the back. And I actually like this because more often than not, when I go camping, all of my connections are going to be, on the off-camp side, kind of toward the back of the campsite. So I actually like having them back here. You don't need quite as long of like portable water hoses. And then right up top is going to be the backup camera, so that way you can see as you are backing up. All right, a couple last things to touch on here on the off-camp side. Underneath that bed, you have some additional storage, and I do like this. Anytime you can get additional outside storage, I think that is always a win because, storage is always at a premium on an RV. Also, let's talk about the slide system. So they do use the BAL Exact Slide cable slide system. So take that for what it is. The nice thing about cable slides is it helps reduce weight. And it does pull in all four corners at the same time. And then and this is going to be, like I said, a lot of people have their own opinions about a cable slide. I think they work just fine. I would prefer a through frame, but like I said, I don't think necessarily a deal breaker, but as always, do your own research. Right up front here is going to be your outside shower that does have both hot and cold water access. So there you have it, folks. Like I said, one of my absolute favorite floor plans in a line that's going to be way more affordable than some of the other brands out there. If you are interested in this one, you want price and availability, I will put that in a link down below. Thanks for watching. I'm Ian Baker, and until next time.